Hello, we're back, and now we're going to discuss SMGO, kickstarting your show.
Ah, that's cute. It rhymes.
Yes.
But yeah, so I can't necessarily say that I'm a part of the Green Lantern fandom, but I may as well just say I am for
Yeah,
the
you
sake of
are.
this. And of course, people of Green Lantern fandom as well as Young Justice have had to deal with the. It's been about a month since these both of those series have ended, and consequently, they have both been canceled. And pretty sure anyone who's had to deal with canceled shows, Symbiotic Titan, Thundercats,
Oh,
had to deal with the concept of sometimes your show just won't make it. Sometimes you thought it was ratings. Sometimes you think it'd be merchandise, but then again, sometimes you find something else that completely contradicts those two things and still manages to get 3 seasons in production, and you just wonder how are we supposed to control these metrics to make sure that the show stays alive? Well, actually, there has been this actually interesting Kickstarter that started sometime in March called it's called, and it does include the show must go on TV. And the concept is actually kind of straightforward, where basically your Kickstarter type of daily where you can get your show back into production. First, you suggest a show, then you get people to vote on it. After it meets a certain cap, the people behind the scenes would meet up with production companies to discuss again using the IP of the show that you want to get brought
oh,
back. And
pardon
if
me.
they, yes,
IP. What does it stand for?
all right, intellectual property.
Yes.
Oh boy, copyright, intellectual property, all of that is just a lovely clusterfuck sometimes.
Yes.
But but yeah, after again assuming that the company is okay with that, they will allow you to crowdfund it. So that's the part where people will donate their money and meet the goal of funding the project. And then from there the money would be used for production and then you would get your show. Now, again, this since I mentioned that this started, I actually should have said it started this year in March, not that it's existed for a long time. There hasn't actually been any tangible results. So again, it's in that iffy territory. But this brings a good discussion up of not only just intellectual property in general, but the concept of actually giving fandoms or people in general just the means of using their money to speak and get the things that they want. I mean, this seems to be a very common sense approach. Granted, again, copyright IP, clusterfucks everywhere. It just seems like the companies want to have money. They want to make money off of their intellectual property. So why not let people throw money at them to for off of their IPs? It honestly pisses me off a lot when companies they have an IP, they'll do something for a short bit, and when it doesn't print the money that they want, they'll eventually shelf it. Even though there are some people out there who would be again willing to make it rain everywhere, but because they're not interested in that because it's not the hotness, then you're just completely shutting the door on money, and it never makes any sense to me at all. Cindy?
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to the power or the power that fandoms could have, basically. Because, yeah, like you said, they shut the door on this idea, and there is a fandom out there. Like, a good example, I'm not quite sure how popular Cats Don't Dance became, but
Mm-hmm.
there is a sub fandom of mostly furries of where they they still make a lot of art for it, and this was made like what, over a decade ago, and they're still making art for it and doing several things for it. But whoever owns it, they're just sitting on it. I don't even remember even seeing like a Blu-ray or a DVD for this thing. Or another good example, Beetlejuice. You remember my whole thing about Beetlejuice?
The cartoon, not the
Yeah.
actual movie. Yeah, I can remember trying to scour the web for. just an inkling, and it is dry.
Yeah, you cannot find Beetlejuice the animated cartoon anywhere. The only thing that I read on it was, oh, Tim Burton doesn't want to release any of the Beetlejuice cartoons. And it's just like, dude, why? I would pay for it. I know a lot of people who would pay for it. So would that be something that you would SGMO? Even though, like, we don't want more of the thing, we just want to be able to buy it on Blu-ray.
The way you said that was funny. But again, it's more of a bringing back your show or making a movie from what I've read. So it wouldn't fall into that. However, I could say that you should contact them and actually see if that would be something they could add on their repertoire.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if it's just a thing with Tim Burton, because you know Tim Burton's an artistic guy. He's worked with
Hmm.
Disney, so he already knows how important it is to safeguard your ideas and your intellectual property. So it just seems like maybe that's the
What?
reason why he's not, you know, trying to get it on Blu-ray because he wants to protect it, or I don't know what's going on. Someone should write a letter to Tim Burton. Like, Tim Burton, I love your movies. Say hi to Johnny Depp for me, but you need to you need to freaking like give us our Beetlejuice on Blu-ray.
Also, I'm going to find that questionable because when I was looking up the Beetlejuice videos, other few VHSs for the animated series, I can find 10 different flavor and varieties of Beetlejuice. I can get it in a Blu-ray, I can get it in a DVD combo pack, I can get it with all two of those and a digital copy. I can get a 20th anniversary, 10-year anniversary. I can get all the Beetlejuice and other ones, but you're gonna tell me that apparently re-releasing some animated cartoon, that's where you're gonna draw the line. You got all of your other works. They're released on probably different types of DVDs and Blu-rays, but the cartoon, that's where you draw the line.
Yeah, what's
Because
going on?
it can't be shame because you made Alice in Wonderland.
Oh shoot.
So please, I I don't feel that that is the issue. But
Did
again,
they
I don't
lose?
know most of this, so I may need to shut my whore mouth up.
I mean, but did they I mean, first of all, Alice in Wonderland was not that bad. Second of all, like if you really want to, I don't know, I didn't like Corpse Bride. Corpse Bride was just kind of there for me. It was just it was a movie that came after Nightmare Before Christmas. That's the only thing Corpse Bride does for me. But it's just like, dude, why won't you give us Beetlejuice? Is it what where was like the original footage lost that was made? What's going on?
They gotta have a master somewhere, but my I wish I could I wish I could do actual Tim Burton slander if only I actually watched Corpse Bride and Frankenweenie and do a thing where it's basically the same movie, just a few things are tweaked slightly.
Yeah,
But Tim Burton does the same movie. But
yeah.
again, I haven't watched the other two of them, and I don't particularly feel any other way towards Tim Burton. Some people have hate bonus for the dude, but that's kind of getting that's kind of getting off the rails on this. Again, I just think that when you have have a way to cut the middleman, you don't have to worry about licensing stuff for merchandise or any of that other stuff. There's no middleman here with the exception of the show must go on. But I would figure it's less tedious to have someone to just say, get these people to get me money directly by getting this product here than to get me this money by taking the likeness of our characters and making and putting them on things so that people will buy this so that we would get money and then
Oh
ad
my
revenue
gosh.
included.
Yeah, that seems very tedious. I mean, and then also, after you get the show must go on and you get what you want, what about merchandise? Like, who owns it at that point? Does a fandom own it? Who owns it? And like, what is cool as far as I want to make a shirt for Beetlejuice? Like, what is cool at that point?
And that's probably where things are going to get really, really, really interesting. Again, I say that it's strictly for the production of the show. And I'm pretty sure they would still maintain their rights to produce merchandise. If again they manage to hit a boom, they're going to use their IP to make more money off of them. So if you're thinking that dropping some money in here will make you be able to make your interesting, creative, I don't know, kids next door t-shirt or something, chances are that probably won't fly.
By the way, Kids Next Door should not be started again. I mean, I did see a really interesting thing on Tumblr, just to derail a little bit, of just they had teens next door. So they had like the whole like
Oh,
teenager
God.
thing, and it was cool because, it was really good fan art. But I do not want to see that become a thing. I don't. I want to continue to have like Kids Next Door just the way it is with my really good fandom art. That's all I want.
Also, they did that. It's called All Grown Up.
Oh, let's not talk
It
about that. Let's not. Let's.
exists, ma'am. So this Lunatics Unleashed, it exists. It isn't going away just by you not acknowledging it.
I'm not acknowledging it at all. What are you talking about? Oh, oh goodness. Things that don't need to be rebooted. Oh no. You were supposed to talk about when your stuff's supposed to get canceled.
Oh, I was going to vent. I was hoping my lovely self would have gotten off tangent in it, but why
Go
not?
ahead.
So again, I guess if I'm talking about bringing back a show, you may want to actually see the telltale signs of sadly your show may get canceled.
Yeah.
Ooh, I probably should do this in a Jeff Foxworthy worthy way. Like you're a redneck when your show's going to get canceled when the time slot of your show, which would be probably on a Friday, ends up shifting somewhere to a Saturday.
For a Sunday if it's really bad.
On top of that, okay, I can't do this. But on top of that, it's usually when they'll start showing it in the early morning. Not so bad between I think it's 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. hour where anything the scraps of Deke or Cookie Jar TV, they just kind of exist in that corner. Not that bad, but it's not on the, I guess, the equivalent of primetime Saturday morning cartoons era, which I say about 9, 10 o'clock.
I
Right.
would definitely say before 10 you need to start like questioning your
Uh,
fandom. Like you need to get together with your fandom and have a discussion about this because before 10 o'clock, who's awake before 10 o'clock on a Saturday other than like those kids who really want to see Power Rangers?
I don't even know what time Power Rangers comes on, but um oh, and another thing that you can tell your show is going to be canceled when the Com Network does not make any effort to alert you that there has been a time change of your show. I can tell you, I used to watch Thundercats. I remember you used to watch that thing from the day it premiered every day, and then they then had a little hiatus, and again, that's to be expected. Then all of a sudden, the show, I've ended up watching the last episode. When I wake up to watch another show, and to my dismay, I end up seeing the little icon on the Cartoon Network saying not series, season finale, and it's like, wait, what? This is the huh? I didn't even know it got moved. Like I'm feeling three different things at the same time while watching this episode. And for those who have watched the last episode of Thundercats, the rebooted one, it compounds your confusion at that moment.
Oh my gosh. I mean, because I love Thundercats, but I have never been able to watch it all the way through. I would always catch like the first or second episode when they would play it at some strange hour. That should be another thing too. When you have seen the first or second episode of your show and it's not even airing, like, okay, for example, Korra, because let's just boomerang back to Korra. I saw the first or second episode like maybe once, and I didn't even like catch it when it originally aired. Whereas Thundercats, I saw the first or second episode maybe 4 or 5 times because they just were using it to fill in places in their schedule. So that should also
Uh,
be a telltale sign that something's up.
okay, now this one's going to be a little trickier to follow because you have to wait until companies get their monthly sales reports. But usually, if your show is a cartoon, it's tied down to merchandise, particularly toys. And if your show is lucky enough to actually get toys merchandise off of them, if they don't sell so well, that basically means you may as well put in the towel because most cartoons, again, they are propped up by the toy. I'm sorry, the shows, they are propped up by the toys that they sell, and if they don't sell, then the show isn't going to continue.
Why do
So,
you think? Why do you think Ben 10 did so well? All a buttload of toys.
toys on toys on toys on toys on toys. Which, to be fair, I don't have I have no hate for Ben 10. Not so much because I actually do like the show to an extent, but it seems like a concept that would be cool with kids.
Yeah,
I can't hate. The same thing with Pokemon. Pokemon is out of my realm of care at all, but it's still a thing. It was in the 90s, but it's still a thing.
yeah. Why is it still a thing? Like, good gosh, it's been the 90s. It's been 20 years. Like, dude, I believe in 2015, which is 2 years from now, Pokemon would have been around for 20 years.
It's either 15 or 16. I forget what came here, which is it's an interesting thing. I do remember I got the first Pokemon game on for my Game Boy Pocket, but I don't remember me being 5 or 6 when I got it.
Yeah, from a source from my really weird old anime friend, or old anime like buff friend.
Right?
Um he was telling me that the first episode of Pokemon was introduced by Steve Urkel after an episode of Family Matters.
That is actually true.
Yes. So, considering that Family Matters aired in like 1994, 95, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be 20 years since Pokemon started in 2015, and it's still going on. Like, there are over 1,000 Pokemon, and no one like believes me. They're like, nah, man, nah, it's not over 1,000 Pokemon. But it's like, look, dude, they had 750 of them things in 2000. Okay, it's been several years, and they've added several more hundreds, so they have over 1,000 Pokemon. Now, who thought up of all those Pokemon? I'm quite sure it was different people, but like, dude, did they retire some of them? This is questions for Papa's brother with the Pokemon fields.
Now I do know that they did end up changing the artist of the who does the Pokemon art because you can kind of tell there's a bit of a difference between the two. But also, you do know that they are going to have another Pokemon game, but apparently colors wasn't cool anymore, so they're now going with letters or chromosomes.
Wow, really?
Papa's Dash was full of so much Pokemon shit. I put that shit on blacklist. I don't. It's like I have never cared any less for something in my whole life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other thing that could show that your show is canceled, and those are generally the telltale signs. as far as I can tell. I can't say like if I guess one could be that they don't mention your show as a headliner for at a con. I can't really. I've never been to a convention where that would be the case. So someone else would need to verify that for me.
I don't think. I don't know. I'm not quite sure because conventions are handled by separate parties.
Mhm.
So things that get mentioned are only mentioned because the person who's going to the con is mentioning it. I noticed that's a thing. That's a thing that usually happens. Like there's really no there might be some previous planning, but as far as advertising, it's mostly just, yeah, my voice actor is going to this convention and yeah, they happen to do voice acting for XYZ show. So, yeah, so I don't think that's a thing. At least I'm not sure. I know that's for anime. I'm not quite sure for like Comic Cons and stuff.
Right, because that's usually where you get some of your big announcements for stuff. But again, well, that's it for me. I would ask the audience if they have any other ways that they've known or don't know any trends of things getting canceled, or you want to comment on anything that we've talked about for the podcast today.
Yes, please go to This Is Can Zero N on the Tumblr and send us a ask. We actually do have a phone number. You can send us a text if you want to get real intimate with us. We'll read it.
We do have our personal limits, though.
Yeah, yeah. Especially WanaBee. She has,
I'm so sensitive.
yeah, she has sensibilities. Other than that, guys, I think that's it for tonight.
All right, guess we can shut this up then.
Yep.
Shut it down, not shut it up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this is Canon signing out.